final last week?
No, not sure about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. But no, to be fair, I think the midweek game gave me like a morale boost, especially us going 1-0 down and then coming back. That was good for the morale.
In terms of narrative, Dan, big character building week. You lose a cup final and then, like Sam said, against lower league opposition, you come from behind. It's kind of the test of mentality that you have to have as a Chelsea player.
Yeah, I feel like we lose 1 or 2 cup finals and there's one round the corner anyway. We win the important one, so hopefully we find ourselves in a Champions League final and win that.
Yeah.
And then all is forgiven for the Carabao Cup. But yeah, look, we're always in finals. You're bound to lose some. As long as we pick up the ones that we really, really want, we're good.
Obviously, it's been a busy week for the football club, and very aware that, you know, Roman Abramovich's statement in the week to say the club is up for sale. Thomas Tuchel has come out and said, you know, see his side are still focused very much on the job in hand. He said it's a wonderful opportunity for someone to buy, you know, the Kings of Europe. Like, it's very rarely happens. But in terms of footballing perspective, that's outside noise. The players, staff, etc., have to be focused on the job in hand, Sam. And I suppose if there ever was a sort of a statement to say you have to focus on this, it's away to Burnley because, you know, like we said in the opener, it's notoriously a difficult place to go, and Burnley has started to pick up recently.
Yeah. Like you said, Burnley are always difficult to play against. That they even though they haven't had a great season so far, you go to Turf Moor, you just know that they're gonna cause you some sort of problem. But I think Tuchel's, he's done it this season, but just in general, the way he prepares the team and how focused he gets them in terms of trying to like silence the outside noise, that's something that we obviously love. And the fact that you see players speaking out after games and saying we're focused on the next game, doesn't matter about the result, but it's the next game. So yeah, I think the team are going to be well prepared for today.
Pretty right. And also, Dan, from an arrogant perspective, to a level, you look at the run of fixtures we've got now: Burnley today, Norwich in the week, Newcastle as well, scrapping down the bottom end of the table for, you know, the life, and off the back of the Crystal Palace game as well. That's a run of fixtures that, on paper, Chelsea need to be utilising. They need to get maximum points, you'd say, from them.
Yeah, I mean, you can try. I don't know if you can ever look at, you know, a fixture list and work out exactly where you're going to get your points from now, because there's just, the Premier League is so competitive that, you know, Newcastle probably isn't as easy as it was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Norwich could be, but you never know. You know, it's still got talent in the side. Burnley, we haven't lost there since 1983, but it's still a tough place to go. So yeah, we're Chelsea. We expect 3 points everywhere we go and every team we play. But I'm not sure if 9 points is now the expected. I'd be happy with 7.
Yeah, I think like you said, you can't ever take it for granted, and especially when you're playing teams down the bottom end of the table. Burnley have got so many games in hand still. You know, they've got every game they go into, they have to focus on that specific game, because like Chelsea were in the midst of it, you can only bank on the next one, the next one, the next one. You know, they've got such a quick turnaround. Chelsea do tend to score goals at Turf Moor, which has been a little bit of a problem for Chelsea in recent weeks and months. But then you'd say today, if you are playing a team at the bottom end of the table, these are the kind of fixtures you want to play yourself into form almost.
Yeah, and it's going to give the players confidence as well. Pulisic, he scored the perfect hat-trick against them before. Ziyech scored a good goal as well. So the players are going to have that confidence and know that obviously you're going to, in every Premier League game, like Dan said, you're going to have some form of difficulty. But Chelsea, we expect to win every game. And I think the players are going to know that and know that it's going to be a challenge, but they're up for it.
And also there's that little, I suppose, element of putting last Sunday to bed. You've got to focus on the league now for a little while. We've got Lille in, I think, about 14 days' time, a little bit under that, maybe 10 days' time. Champions League will then come and go. But other than the league and the FA Cup game we've got at the end of the month now, this is our sole priority, which is quite rare. The fact we've got 3 Premier League games back-to-back, I don't think we've had that since the start of January. I'm
sure we didn't even have... I think we had 1 Premier League game in February as well. So, look, we play a lot of fixtures, we win a lot of games. I think we're in pretty decent form as well. You know, we may have lost the Carabao Cup, but we lost it on penalties. I think we were the better team for the majority of the game. But now it's back to the Premier League, and there are teams beginning to close in on us. So we do need to start picking up some points and kind of break their hearts and make sure that they know that 3rd spot at least is ours.
Absolutely right. Let's see the team then that Thomas Tuchel has selected for this afternoon's trip to Turf Moor. In goal, Edouard Mendy, a back 3 of Trevor Chalobah, Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. We believe Sal Niguez will play on the left-hand side, Reece James on the right, a midfield 2 of N'Golo Kanté and captain Jorginho, a front 3 of Mason Mount, Kai Havertz and Christian Pulisic. Obviously a busy bench for Chelsea as always, a very strong bench as well with Kepa, Christensen, Kovacic, Lukaku, Werner, Loftus-Cheek, Ziyech, Kennedy and Sarr. Boys, what do you think of that?
Strong team.
Yeah. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see Sal out wide. We know he can play there from his days at Atletico, but I'm not sure if he's done it there for us yet, has he?
I think he's played
one
games,
or two.
hasn't he?
One or
Yeah,
two.
I think in games, but I don't think he's started a game at left wing back. But you know, he scored in the week at Luton as well. I saw his Instagram post to say how pleased he is that he's got off the mark for Chelsea, and you hope he carries that on.
Yeah, I hope so. He's a good player. You know, he didn't have the greatest debut for us, but he definitely played very well in that Tottenham game. He got the goal, an important goal for us against Luton. I like it. I like the team. You know, I feel like whatever team we would have put out today would be like good enough, strong enough to be able to deal with what Burnley bring. But yeah, they just have to perform now.
Well, I tell you what, let's get some immediate reaction then from Matt Davies-Adams, who is at Turf Moor for us. Matt, good afternoon, mate. Are you good?
Very well, Joe. Yeah. How you guys doing?
Yeah, we're all good, thank you, mate. All good. Just looking at the team news, I think the big thing is Trevor Chalobah as well was fantastic in the cup final last week. Obviously involved in that heavy challenge with Naby Keita. Glad to see there's not too many repercussions of that for him to carry through. It's good that he's back in the side and starting games consistently.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a bonus, hasn't he, for us this season. We didn't think at the start of pre-season that he'd be spending the year at Chelsea, let alone become an influential player. We'll probably be stretching it, but certainly a really important squad member. So great to have Trevor back. I think the other big thing today is obviously Reece starting the game for the first time in 2022. How different might Chelsea's season have been if they'd had him and Ben Chilwell fit for the whole campaign? We'll never know, but certainly great to see Reece back, and alongside Trev, it's just another one for the academy, isn't it?
Just talking about Reece, Matt, because you know we've all done that hypothetical thing, and you just said it there, where Chelsea would be if Reece and Ben Chilwell, you know, not to say there's a drop-off, but at the time Reece James was playing towards the end of the season, to the end of last year, you could argue one of the most informed, if not one of the best players in the Premier League at that point. I mean, you know, 2 goals away at Newcastle, he was running games, the goal in the Champions League against Juventus, at the very, very peak of his powers. To take an injury like he did and be out for that long, I suppose now is about a gradual return. We've seen that this week. Today's a big step, though, with it being his first start.
Yeah, massive. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't expecting to play for as long as he did in the Carabao Cup final in the end. But, you know, this is a unique challenge, isn't it, Burnley? He's going to spend a lot of time going forward because that's what he loves to do. But given the position that Burnley are in, the perilous position, a lot of his work, I would assume, is going to be in preventing crosses coming in for Wout Weghorst, because that's going to be plan A, plan B, plan C for Burnley. So whether we'll be able to see Reece get up and down as much as he would like to, be interesting to see.
Is there a little bit in that as well, Matt, maybe as to why Trevor Chalobah's been elected ahead of maybe Andreas Christensen? Because, you know, Trevor aerially is one of his strengths, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, he did so well against Luis Diaz last week. I thought it was absolutely sensational, but totally different kind of challenge for him today. I'm sure Rudiger will want to be marking Weghorst as well whenever he can, because he'll absolutely relish that, won't he? But I guess what you don't want, for as good a header of the ball as Thiago Silva is, you don't want him left one-on-one with Weghorst, because there's going to be, 4 or 5 foot difference between the two of them probably. But Trev will be up for that physical battle as well, yeah. And I think you're right, Joe, that's probably influenced thinking today.
And also Christian Pulisic, obviously a perfect hat-trick up at Turf Moor season before last for him. Happy hunting ground, and you hope that, you know, maybe we're asking a lot for another perfect hat-trick today, but certainly a good performance. He's deserving of it because he's worked tirelessly the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, happy hunting ground in that he got that hat-trick. But I was here last year, behind closed doors game, when he pulled up lame in the warm-up, and he was in the starting 11 for that game, and he had to come out, and it was one of those where it took him a while to get back in again. So I'm sure that'll be in his mind as well. But yeah, recent weeks he's looked terrific, hasn't he? And him and Mason and Havertz in that 3 is something that we've really liked the look of. And their energy, their ability to stretch Burnley might be key today, because Burnley have got a decent defence. You know, the old stages who we know, me and Tarkowski, these guys who are seasoned Premier League footballers, what they don't have is a lot of pace. And if Mount and Pulisic in particular can drag them out of position, that might be a good source of chances created for Chelsea today.
Matt, brilliant as always, mate. Thank you very much. Enjoy the game, and we will catch up with you in a little while. Thank you for that, pal. Just carrying on from that point that Matt made so excellently there, Sam, in terms of the front 3, because so many options in that front 3. You know, Timo Werner and Romelu Lukaku both score in the week and find themselves sort of having to still battle for places. It's not like you're scoring, you're definitely in the next game. Kai Havertz, Pulisic and Mount as a front 3, very fluid, very flexible, and like Matt said, up against a defence that like things in front of them. I suppose that'll be the brief today, is try and get in behind, try and mix it up a little bit, and that fluidity in the front three will help us.
Yeah, and we were talking about it before we came on air about how hard it is to try and put a Chelsea player in fantasy.
Fuming,
because
mate.
you don't know, you genuinely don't know who's going to go in those positions, because they all offer something different, offer something new as well. And I think we saw in the Carabao Cup final, like Dan said, they were very fluid when they were playing together. Was unfortunate not to get the result, but it was very positive, and they were creating chances. They were spreading the defenders that they were playing against, and I think that's definitely going to be the same task that Tuchel tells them to do. And I think hopefully there'll be early goals as well, because I know with Burnley, if you kind of give them that inch, they're always going to believe that they can almost get a result. We've seen it this season as well, when we've given teams just an inch in the last 10 minutes, they can do something that is unexpected. So hopefully we can score early and they can do their job.
That'll settle it, won't it, Dan? Because, like Simon said there, we've seen teams do that against Chelsea this year and have relative success in terms of allowing Chelsea a lot of possession and just say, kind of, come on, break us down, see what you've got. And I suppose with that front three, you've got players that can drop into different roles and drop deep and come to feet and maybe try and get on the ball a little bit more and work in spaces that potentially, if they're going to sit so deep, there isn't as many spaces to run in beyond, or just play a sort of width of the penalty area. Yeah,
for me, it makes sense to play, Pulisic, Mount and Kai there, because they're all very tidy footballers. You can trust them one-on-one and trust them to keep possession. Werner, you know what his strengths are. It's running into space. He's gonna really cause problems for any team that leaves any grass behind them. But a team like Burnley that won't, maybe nullifies him a bit. Lukaku, he's a poacher more than he is a silky footballer. So if we're trying to keep manoeuvring Burnley's backline around, probably best to have the three that are selected.
Rightly so, understandably. There's a lot of excitement on Twitter that Reece James is back in the side, Sam. And I don't think you can overstate how important he is to this Chelsea team, whether it be the balance, whether it be his aerial ability. Again, today against someone like Wout Weghorst, there's a lot to Reece's game, but there does need to be a little bit maybe of caution from Chelsea fans, because it's going to take him a while to get back to that level, and we need to protect him as well, because he's come back from an injury, it's kept him out a while. You don't want to overdo it, rush him back, force him into too much. So perhaps there is a little bit of caution that needs to be had from Chelsea fans for that. Yeah,
I guess, but I also believe that Tuchel wouldn't force him back, even though there's injuries to obviously Azpilicueta and four other fullbacks. I still think he would have been sure that, OK, if Reece James says he's OK and the physio says he's OK, that he's going to be playing. But you said it perfectly. Before the new year, he was definitely one of the best players in the league. He was so influential on both ends as well. And I think it's just, I can understand why Chelsea fans are so excited, because you've got a player that is going to add to the team that is already doing so well.
Yeah, absolutely world-class, isn't it? Let's quickly do Play Predictor then. Obviously, you can have your say up until 5 minutes before kick-off. You can get your predictions in on the Fifth Stand Up. Some really cool prizes to win each and every week, and big end-of-season winner as well. So, Dan, first goal scorer and final score, mate.
First goal scorer, Mason Mount. Final score, 1-0.
Oh, Sam, final scorer and first goal scorer?
Havertz, he's in my fantasy, and 2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
Well, I did have Lukaku actually earlier, I'll be honest with you, so I'm still going to stick with Lukaku. I think he'll be an early second half sub, and I think I like 1 and 2-0 to be fair, but I'm going to go 3-0. Floodgates are open.
Love that.
Yeah, let's go a bit. Why not? Time then for the social. So yes, welcome to the social. This is the part where we look through all the social media business that has involved Chelsea over the last couple of days and weeks. And obviously, it's been a busy week for the football club. But today is a special anniversary, actually, because it's the anniversary of Gianfranco Zola's debut for us, right, in 1996. He played against Blackburn. So what we've done is we've picked our favourite goals, OK, that you may have forgotten about. But, I mean, there's so many Gianfranco Zola goals that you can't really forget about. The pictures do a lot of the heavy lifting here, boys, so we'll allow that to do. So I'll tell you what, let's start with Sam. It's his final ever goal for us against Everton that you've picked. Let's get this on the go then, shall we? Against 2003, obviously, against Blackburn. Against Everton, excuse me. What more do you need?
Oh, my gosh. Who even thinks of doing that there, though? That's what I'm saying. I was going to say he was a magician, but that just literally proves how good he was.
It's a stunning goal, isn't it? It's a really good goal. I've gone for a bit of a trademark goal, actually, against Blackburn. Bit of a trademark Zola free kick, which I think's just sums him up, really. Sorry, a trademark, just top corner curler. This one here, where he cuts inside. Ready? Typical Zola. Shifts it, there you go. And again, right, I do want to point out, these are at the latter stage of his Chelsea career. Okay, we could have picked anyone. And Dan, you picked a goal against Barcelona because you've played at Barcelona. I think that's probably come into it a little bit.
Yeah, I've scored there as well.
You and Zola got a lot in common. This is a great goal. It's a great goal.
Look at that team as well. Kluivert, Rivaldo. This is Figo. What a team. I remember this game. When Zola's over a free kick like this,
It's long.
it's very, very long. The keeper, I've seen keepers not even move. You know, they just watch it. They're in awe of what it does. But look at what it means. You know, this was the beginning of us becoming European giants.
He clips it almost with his heel.
It's like
doesn't
a
he, the way
whip.
he goes so far over the ball. Sam, what a player! What an incredible talent. And also, I think it makes a difference when they're humble, when they're quiet characters. They just go on the pitch. They're magical. And he's one of those players. And it is such a cliche. He's one of the players that makes you fall in love with football.
Literally, he was a joy to watch. Like, he would do things that would make you realise, okay, this is why I can't be a footballer. Do you know what I mean? Because he's just so technically gifted. He played with a smile on his face. He made the fans fall in love with him and Chelsea even more. And it's like, you only get those type of players like every so often. And yeah, he was just a straight magician, man.
Dan, especially at that time as well, where a lot of us were watching Chelsea sort of, and you do get a nostalgic look of players when you're early on in your Chelsea sort of loving, but any era, any time he comes out, you know, there's a reason that he was called the Little Magician. There's a reason so many people love him.
He made football fun. You know, there were only a few characters throughout football history, you know, Ronaldinho's, and he falls into that category of player that just, you know, yes, it was teamwork and yes, it was hard work, but every time that they got on the ball, people would, you know, lean off their seats because you just know something crazy could happen. What a player. Important, effective goals as well. It wasn't all just the looks and everything looking beautiful. He was the real thing.
It was a real thing. Again, so influential to so many players, I'm sure. You know, his pictures out on the shed wall. Brilliant character, brilliant person. And we've had him on Matchday Live, in fact, in the past. And he's just one of those most humble, lovely people. Like, just an absolute joy to watch him play. And yeah, it's nice to celebrate that anniversary as well today. Let's move on to the trending topics of the week. Then, obviously, it's quite a lot. You know, we've done okay recently in getting to finals. Might not have had the best luck at Wembley finals recently, but that happens. You know, when you're a club of our size, you do get to finals, and sometimes that's just football, Sam. And sometimes you don't get the rub of the green, you don't get the luck, and you come away with it licking your wounds and you go again. But that's the great thing about Chelsea Football Club. As selfishly as it feels and as arrogant as it feels, it's not going to be long to win another final. We could put that right.
Yeah, that's literally what Dan said it earlier as well. Finals is what we do, and you win some, you lose some. You can't expect to win every single final, especially when it goes to penalties. That's literally just 50-50. But the fact that we know that another final is around the corner, we're going to learn from that final because, like Dan said, we dominated large patches of that game, wasn't able to score in 90 and extra time. But at the same time, there's certain areas that you can take positives from. There's obviously areas you can take negatives, but at the same time, we know we're going to be there again, and when we get there again, we're going to win.
It does feel like that, doesn't it? And especially because, you know, we've come for a tough game in the week. We've got the highlights, actually, of the Luton game that's put us a step closer to Wembley. It didn't start tremendously well. Luton taking the lead after about 100 seconds, I think it was, through Reece. But it's a great header down there.
Good delivery.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
You know, an in-swinging corner, he met it at the near post. He was marked, he was tracked, but you just can't do anything about that.
And again, you know, we've seen the difference. You know, not in a critical way, but if you give the ball away against Chelsea in your final third, they're going to punish it. It's a great goal from Saul on his weaker side,
right,
Sam. Yeah, it's a really good finish.
Really good finish. He played quite well in this game as well.
And
This was a really good goal.
It's a great goal, isn't it? It's a really good goal from Harry Cornick. He's quick, but he's got a lot of time to think about it. He's got a lot of time to think about it, and you do get... I mean, we were in the studio, Dan, and we were getting a little bit nervy at that point, but second half, Chelsea were a different beast. I mean, Reuben Loftus-Cheek, we'll speak about him probably in a minute, but...
I mean, Reuben, as a sweeper, was dictating play. Look at that assist from back there. Brilliant take from Werner, by the way. You know, I think that's a very good take into his path, and then obviously we have the ascendancy. Werner link up with Lukaku, and unlucky to Luton Town.
Middlesbrough in the next round of the FA Cup, Sam. It's a good draw for Chelsea in perspective of you avoid Liverpool, you avoid Manchester City, and they've avoided each other. They've avoided us as well. So everyone kind of wins on that perspective. But Middlesbrough have already taken out Man United and Spurs in this competition, so definitely not something we'll take lightly.
Yeah, you can't overlook what they've done in the FA Cup. They're on that. There's always like a few teams in the FA Cup where they're just feeling unbeatable, and Middlesbrough are that team right now. So I know Tuchel and the team are going to be well versed and know that we're going to have to take this very seriously to come out with the win.
Absolutely right. Max and Jason are going to speak about Reuben a little bit more in depth, but we've got some social media following on reaction on Reuben's performance in the week. But no one is talking about how Thomas Tuchel played Reuben Loftus-Cheek as centre-back yesterday and was spot on. That man is something else tactically. It's a great call from Thomas, because even when the team sheet comes out, we're going, is it a 4? We'd played around, just some more tweets on how amazing he was. We'd played around with the idea of it being a 5 and a 4, but we did not have Reuben in the middle of a back three.
Definitely didn't.
Dan, he was superb.
Yeah, he was brilliant. It's easier when you're the one seeing a lot of the ball and you're not having to do too much defending, but he was just able to dictate play, and that's why at the centre of that 3, Tuchel likes a footballer, whether it's Thiago or whether it's Christensen. He wants someone that's super confident on the ball at the centre of that pivot, just so that you can pick passes like the one that Reuben picked.
Yeah, it was fantastic, especially stepping in as well. And I don't want to steal a phrase from Pep Guardiola, but when you have footballers, you don't have specific players, you have footballers. You have players that can play in a number of positions. That last tweet put it excellently. Reuben's played wide left, wide right, as a 10, as a 6, as an 8, as a centre forward, and now in the back 3. Just incredible. And attitude as well, because, some players have a specific position and they like to do that specific position. Reuben's been playing everywhere, and everywhere he does play, you seem to see a little bit of him. It'll take him a while to develop into the position fully, but he was able to show why he's a fantastic footballer, whether it be at the back or whether it be in the middle of midfield. He has been brilliant for us this season. Yeah,
he's been amazing for the club in general, to be honest. And I think, like you said, it takes a certain type of player to be humble enough to go into these different positions and learn a new role and do it with your head held high and smiling. And I think Tuchel has done really well with how he's treated Loftus-Cheek. And I think he said that role is somewhere that he thinks he can thrive in more. So hopefully you see more of him there.
That's the interesting thing, Dan, isn't it? Because earlier in the season, we saw Thomas Tuchel play a back 4 out of necessity rather than sort of wanting to, really.
Yeah.
If you've got another option for a player that can play in a number of different positions, in terms of the squad and the running and the amount of games you still got to play, essential that you've got players that can do a number of different roles.
Yeah, of course. We've got a number of players that can play a number of different roles, and that was one that I didn't expect. I'm guessing that's one that no one's ever seen before and definitely didn't think would be coming. But it worked, and I think it will work against teams where you're expecting to have the majority of possession and not have to do, not have to share the spoils with the other team. But Reuben is best wherever he can get himself on the ball. As soon as he's on the ball, he's a problem. It doesn't matter where it is. He's got such a good picture of what the pitch is that he can hurt you from absolutely anywhere.
Got the assist and the pass to the assist for the second goal as well. Yeah, fantastic performance from Reuben Loftus-Cheek. On the bench this afternoon, could definitely play a part this afternoon. We'll wait and see for that, though. Time now for Wherever We May Be with Matt Davies-Adams.
Welcome to Turf Moor then, one of the oldest grounds in English football, 1883 it was built. There's been a fair bit of redevelopment since then, since you can imagine back in the mid-90s it was converted into an all-seater stadium, holds about 22,500 on a good day, and it's been one of Chelsea's favourite places to come and visit. Plenty of good days here in this part of Lancashire over recent years. The Blues have never actually lost a Premier League game at Turf Moor, winning 6 of their previous 7 visits. The Chelsea supporters, by the way, going to be just behind me in what is colloquially known as the cricket field end. Why is that, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It is because Burnley Cricket Club is just behind this stand, believe it or not. So this is where the Chelsea supporters will be. We reckon about 2,000 of them here. The ground itself sits on Harry Potts Way. Harry Potts, the only player to have taken charge of more games, the only manager I should say, to have taken charge of more games for Burnley than Sean Dyche. He did used to be a player as well. He helped the club win promotion and he led them to the top flight title in 1960 and an FA Cup final appearance a couple of years later. Will they do the same for Sean Dyche here one day? I wonder. Well, they'll need to improve their home record if that is to be the case. They don't win many here at Turf Moor, beaten in 2 of their last 3. Of course, Spurs were the exception to that, but Leicester winning here in midweek means it's It's as big a game for the home side as it is for Chelsea. Plenty of memories out on this pitch over recent years. You only have to come back to last year. Hakim Ziyech scoring his first ever Premier League goal out here. How about the season before? Christian Pulisic celebrating with the supporters in the stand behind me after he became the youngest player in Chelsea history to score a Premier League hat-trick. It happened on this ground. Or maybe you remember Diego Costa's very first Blues goal, which also came here back in 2014. That game, of course, where we had that magnificent Cesc Fabregas assist. Won't be too long until we're underway at Turf Moor. Can Chelsea make it 7 wins from 8 in this stadium? We'll find out.
That Fabregas assist, boys, still.
Best assist I've ever seen.
No one saw it.
Oh, it was amazing, wasn't it?
I didn't see that.
We're
that
looking
pass at all.
on the TV, we can't see that's even on.
Even on the replay, no, when he does it, he goes, he's not shaping up to pass that. There's no way. It's unbelievable. Crazy. Unbelievable player. Right, I've got a little quiz for you, boys, OK? So this is an On This Day quiz. All right, so Sam, we'll start with you. Multiple choice. On this day in 1994, we beat Manchester United 1-0 at Old Trafford, completing a league double. But who scored the winner in both games? Was it Gavin Peacock, Mark Steen or Dennis Wise?
Dennis Wise.
Let's have a look.
Can't bet against
Wasn't, mate.
Peacock.
Gavin Peacock. Gavin Peacock. It's a lovely finish, that. Steve Bruce.
When have we started putting the quiz, the score at the bottom? Since you started doing that, I've not done well at all.
Done then for an early lead. On this day in 1998, we beat Real Betis 2-1 in the first leg of our Cup Winners' Cup quarter-final. Who scored both goals on that night? Was it Gianluca Vialli, Torre Andre Flo or Mark Hughes?
Torre Andre Flo.
Let's have a look. Look at the video footage on this, by the way. This is
Look at the run from Torre.
And it is as well.
Look at it.
He's in. Oh, my. Look at the touch and the finish as well. Doing great work as well as a head coach over in Norway at the moment. Fantastic to see it. 1-0. Sam, you need this one, mate. You need this one, OK? On this day, 1990, OK?
Come on, guys. I wasn't born for any of these questions.
Current squad member on loan in the Championship was born? And, OK, I'll tell you what, because there's no multiple choice, so you just have to tell me. On this day in 1990, which current squad member on loan in the Championship and a Premier League title winner was born?
A Premier League title winner?
Yep. 1990, so he's 31, 32?
31. It depends.
Yeah, 31.
32. Yeah.
Wait. Say, can you say the question one more time? Just one more time.
On this day in 1990,
Yeah.
which current squad member on loan in the Championship and title-winning Premier League Cup winner? Let's have a look.
I knew he was going to get in. You shouldn't have given him the time.
No, I didn't hear the question properly.
Unless Pedro's done some sort of loan deal to Stoke in the last 48 hours, you're absolutely spot on. Yeah, what a finish, Danny Drinkwater.
What finish that was.
Great goal. Great goal, Danny Drinkwater. OK, then, Dan, for the win. For the win. On this day in 2005, we beat Norwich City 3-1 at Carrow Road. It was the first goal Petr Cech had conceded in how many minutes? 905, 1,015 or 1,025?
I know this.
Ooh.
1,015.
It's not, mate. It's 1,025. Right.
It.
OK. So this is a tiebreaker now, right? So I'm gonna give you the question, and you're just gonna have to jump in as soon as you think you know the answer. All right? So there is multiple choice. On this day in 2008, we beat Olympiacos 3-0 in the Champions League. Which of these players did not score? Which of these players did not score? Didier Drogba, Salomon Kalou, Frank Lampard, or Michael Ballack?
Michael
Ballack.
Salomon Kalou. I'm going
Drogba.
with both. You said...
Didier Drogba.
Oh, no!
Yes. You still it.
I mean, I'm not quite sure what the scoring is. We'll get VAR on it to have a little look. But while we do that, it's a massive game tonight. Massive game this evening. Chelsea women are in the Conti Cup final. Check this out.
They say once is a chance.
History made in Nottingham.
They say twice is a coincidence.
It's Chelsea's day at Vicarage Road.
But three times is a pattern. A pattern of champions, game changers, pioneers. So for the third time, Continental Cup final, let's do this, Chelsea.
I'm so excited for this game later, boys. So excited for this game. 7-0 winners last week, Sam. They've been on a fantastic run, the Chelsea women under Emma Hayes. Cup final is their Chelsea thing.
Yeah.
It's a Chelsea thing. You're always confident in cup final.
I love that advert, like it makes you like puff your chest out, you know what I mean? It's a pattern. Like Dan said earlier as well, we're used to cup finals, the men's team, women's team, the academy as well, and hopefully we get another one under our belt.
Third consecutive Conti Cup win, potentially, Dan. Yeah, I mean, that says it all, doesn't it?
Proof's in the pudding. We've dominated domestically. Almost did it in Champions League. So they'll be, looking to avenge that. But look, we win this cup every single time we're in it, basically. It will get won again today.
That's a big thing for me, Sam, as well, because you talk about the disappointment of the Champions League final last year against Barcelona. Chelsea were immaculate in every competition. Were fantastic, especially with COVID breaks, but winning the WSL, winning consistently over the last couple of years under Emma Hayes. A cup final defeat in the manner it was against Barcelona, it can derail you a little bit because it's a big deal, to then come back, start the season well, have the disappointment of getting knocked out of the Champions League, to come back again. Like the amount of times this team digs deep. And I know we talk about it being a Chelsea thing about just functioning when there's a lot of noise around it, or just going about your business and always maintaining that level. This Chelsea women's team constantly maintain that level. Like, they never dip below. You watch any game, they're exciting to watch. They score goals. They defend fantastic. You've got, same as the men's team, you've got 30 players that you can select from, it feels, every week that can do a job. There's so much to be proud of. A day like today should be a celebration, but obviously we are also a football club that wins things. You hope at 5:15 all the noise stops and you focus on the game in hand. But it should be a celebration of how good this team is regardless, like it was for the Carabao Cup final last week.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's not an anomaly for us to be in this position. And I think that's what Emma Hayes will be telling the team. We should win this trophy because we are the best team in this competition. And I think that's almost like a credit to what she's doing, but also the team and them believing in themselves and knowing that we are the best. And obviously, like you said, it was unfortunate they wasn't able to win the Champions League final, but they would have learned so much from that experience alone. So, yeah, man, I wish them all the best of luck.
Especially, I was listening to the Chelsea Mike Top podcast this week with Lee Parker and the team, and they were talking to Jessie Fleming on the show about it. And Jessie's one of those players that, she's a World Cup winner with Canada, won the Olympics in the summer, and one of the best players in the world. Sam Kerr, one of the best players in the world. And then you're talking about Pernille Harder, one of the best players in the world. Fran Kirby, one of the best players in the world. Erin Cuthbert's been unbelievable this year. Guro Reiten as well. We talk about that level of competition, but when you've got that many elite players, you push each other on. So you get to a final like today, and it's almost business as usual because whoever's selected, this is the environment that they grow in.
Yeah. All of them, the fringe players, the starters, the stars, all of them, these are the best players in the world. Definitely, the results prove it, but when you look in it, there's leaders. They all seem like leaders, and whenever one drops out, there's another one that comes and takes a place and really kicks on. So it's good for the future. It's good for now, obviously, because things are working right now, but there's still more developing and more coming through. You've got Lauren James, you've got everyone coming through that's going to, add a bit more to this Chelsea team.
So true. Lauren James obviously first start last week against Leicester as well. 7-0 winners. Not a bad record to start, is it? But coming back to Emma Hayes, because we're going to hear for Emma Hayes in the half-time show a little bit later on, and we'll get some team news and reaction and stuff like that as well. But having Emma Hayes at the helm, having Thomas Tuchel at the helm, you've got two inspirational leaders, two characters that do thrive in this sort of environment and this pressure, And with Emma, it will be very much business as usual. She'll celebrate a cup win exactly the same as she celebrates a big league win. There's always that level of consistency to make sure that we are going again. Because like you said, like we both said, like we've all said, this is a habit that Chelsea get into. Winning competitions is expected, but it's never boring. It's never a case of taken for granted. You treat every game like this. You treat every game like a cup final. And that's why they're at the very, very pinnacle.
Yeah, and every time I hear her talking, like even when she's not talking about Chelsea, but just in football, like she has a genuine love for the game, and you can see that with the way that she organises the team and how well prepared they are during the game. So you always feel like when you watch the team, you always feel confident that we're going to score goals, we're going to play attractive football, that you're going to watch, enjoy watching. So I think that's something that she's done with the team, and I think, like Dan said, this is just the beginning. She's got so much experience, but I heard Tuchel talking as well about how much he learns from her as well, and they learn from each other. And with the core of the love of Chelsea there and the quality players, we're going to be able to win it all.
Oh, we are. That's the exciting thing, isn't it? You know, it is. We are spoiled as Chelsea fans, the success this football club has. But there are so many parallels between the two teams for me as well. You know, you look at Kai Havertz and Pernille Harder are very similar in the way that they move, the way they control the ball, the way they're so kind of relaxed and have just got that elegance about them. You look at Magdalena Eriksson as the captain, similar to Azpilicueta in terms of a club legend, leads by example on and off the pitch. There's so many characters within it. Erin Cuthbert, and you'd even say Mason Mount, Erin Cuthbert are quite similar in personality. There's that family feel about it. And whether you're looking at the men's team, whether you're looking at the women's team, whether you're looking at the academy, throughout it, there is those morals, those codes, those ethics that within the football club that the players have to relate to and have to be about. And when you've got that as a standing point and a starting point, you're always going to be on to a winner, aren't you?
Yeah, it's the culture of the club, you know. Like, we are a club that wants to be successful, wants to win things, wants to do great things, you know. And we haven't come from that 50 years ago. You know, we've really started our world domination in the last 20 years and kicked on, and it's getting stronger and stronger, and we are, you know, a threat to everyone at every level. You know, there's no team in the world that wants to draw Chelsea, whether it's in the academy, under 23s, whether it's the men's team, it's the women's. It's a long day at the office if you play against us. So it doesn't matter which of our teams you play, you're playing a good team.
No, you're absolutely right. We will continue our build up to Chelsea Burnley now then with the warm up with Max and Jason.
A very good afternoon and welcome to Turf Moor for today's Premier League fixture between Burnley and Chelsea. As you can see, the warm-ups are well underway in Lancashire, but before we focus on who will be in action today, it's time to remind you of a very special competition. All season long, Trivago has been bringing the world of travel and football together to offer epic experiences and incredible prizes for Blues fans. And guess what? This afternoon, it's no different. Chelsea women's season is coming to a thrilling conclusion, and Trivago wants you to be there to soak up all the drama live at Kings Meadow as part of an all-expenses-paid trip to London. You can win a 2-night stay and travel to London for 2 people, tickets to a Chelsea women's match at Kings Meadow, an opportunity to go behind the scenes at Stamford Bridge, dinner at a top London restaurant, a relaxing spa experience, and you'll even get to enjoy a day of sightseeing in the capital. There are 5 major prizes up for grabs, so while the team are warming up for the game here, there's plenty of time for you to head on over to trivago.co.uk/Chelsea FC to enter. Just a reminder, this promotion is open until midnight on the 27th of March. Fans must be over 18 to enter, and of course, terms and conditions do apply. Well, what a prize that is, courtesy of Trivago. And you know what? This afternoon, I feel like I've won a pretty good prize myself. Alongside me to talk through this afternoon's match is Jason Cundy. Good afternoon, Jason.
The booby prize, is that what you're going to say? Good afternoon, Max. Good afternoon, everyone.
I won't flatter you too much. So let's dive straight in with the 3 points for 3 points. We're looking for the 3 things that Chelsea have to do to make sure that they win today's game, starting with the big one, and that is getting the game faces on and putting all the focus on what's going on the pitch.
Yes, it's you know, we've had a bit of a mixed week, haven't we? You go back to last Sunday where I thought we were excellent and really should have won it, had the chances, and then you fast forward to Luton in a game that was as I called it, a bit of a Frankenstein back 3 or back 5, and we struggled a little bit. You know, the first goal really did kind of put them in a position where they felt they could go on and cause problems, and they did, to their credit. Today is back to the bread and butter, the day job, if you like, and this is always historic. It's one of those ground you go to and you know it's going to be a tough, hard grind. Anything you come away, even though they're struggling where they are, anything you take from Turf Moor is well-earned points. And today I expect to be no different at all. And this is a game where you go into your eyes wide open. Burnley feel, Max, as they're getting back to a little bit of what Burnley have been under Sean Dyche in the Premier League. Although I think they struggled the early part, but I get the feeling they're now starting to smell survival, and today is a big game for them.
Well, one of the big threats always from Burnley is from set pieces. They've scored 7 times from set pieces in the Premier League. Chelsea have conceded just 3 times, but despite that good record, it's still vital that they stay switched on when defending those set pieces.
Yeah, and when you play against a side like Burnley, and Luton actually, it's a great example, you think, are they going to really break you down? What's the chance of breaking you down in open play? Probably not, really. I mean, Luton did that, but it was poor defending on our part. But the first goal, set piece, and it's a bit of a leveller. Set pieces, you can have, I don't care how good you are, or what level you play, defending a set piece, if you go to sleep or someone is not doing their job, you can concede a goal. And at the highest level, chances are, if you do go to sleep, you'll concede a chance. And then it comes down to, does he take it? Does he hit the target? Does the keeper make a save? And that's where Burnley will look at a game today. They will build, I played against Wimbledon back in the 90s. They were the side that built their game around set pieces. They had a big physical side. Get the ball in the box, cause havoc, get runners in there, even if they don't get the ball, they get bodies around where the ball arrives. They cause chaos in the box. Maybe something falls to someone and they'll try and finish it. And today, I'm looking at Burnley thinking, if I'm Sean Dyche, how many set pieces can we take advantage of? So from my point of view, Tuchel needs to say to the guys, don't give them away. Sometimes you can't help to give away corners. That trap's there, but don't give silly free kicks away. A little bit like Luton's first goal.
The third and final point from us, Jason, about the 3 points to win 3 points today. It is on Saul, because he's been called in today to start. Second successive game for him. He played in central midfield at Luton. Today, a very different role.
Looks like it, doesn't it? We're still waiting to see exactly how the team lines up, but I can't put him anywhere else on the pitch right now, unless we have some weird formation. Then it's going to be a left wing back, sorry. And he has played there for Atleti. I don't think it's his favourite position. Look, he had a tough introduction into life in English football. It's a very different style of football. It's fast, it's furious. The game that he played against Aston Villa, where he really struggled. I think there was just absolute chaos in front of him. The movement, the pace of the game, the closing down. He likes to have a little bit more time and space on the ball. Way at Wolves 3 or 4 weeks ago, I thought we played really well because Wolves sat. They kind of defend in numbers, and they allowed him a little bit more time and space. He played central that day and then dropped a bit deeper. Today, he's going to be out on that left-hand side. I think Burnley will probably give him a... If I was Sean Dyche, I'd be looking at that thinking, put him under. See if you can ruffle his feathers, make him have to play passes first and second touch, and try and get his head down or force him backwards because he's got a lovely left foot.
Well, he had a very positive performance, didn't he, in midweek? And another player who impressed us on Wednesday evening was Reuben Loftus-Cheek. He's on the bench today, but earlier on, Jason took a closer look at how he adapted to an unfamiliar role in Chelsea's back three.
OK, let's have a look at Reuben Loftus-Cheek, who played in the centre of a 5 midweek against Luton, and I thought we'd done exceptionally well. In fact, I thought he was our best player. I know Timo Werner took all the headlines, but I thought Reuben's overall contribution was excellent. So we look at Reuben. He's got everything. He's such a silky player. Can travel with the ball. He's got a lovely range of passing. Strong, very physical. Can't knock him off the ball. But just have a look at some of the passing here. He's got a lovely range, and we'll have a look at the goal that he set up for Timo as well. But second half, this is where I really felt he took the game by the scruff of the neck, driving through the middle of the park. Really getting in between those lines. Maybe could release the ball a little bit earlier, but this is the best of Reuben here. Gets in behind them. Once he does that, he breaks those lines and then it puts them on the back foot. He's done it time and time again in the second half. It really did start to hurt them. And that, I felt, really got us higher up the pitch and had to get us back into a game that we were losing. But he had a contribution as well in the goals. The pass before the pass, which Timo sets up. Lukaku as well. Lovely piece of skill on that occasion. He's such a silky player, so strong in attack as well. There's the pass that breaks the lines, that sets the one up for Timo Werner to set up Lukaku. But this was the pass of the game, beautifully weighted. He's got a lot to do there, Timo, but it does exceptionally well. And just goes to show how versatile Reuben Loftus-Cheek is, and hopefully we'll see more and more of that.
Yeah, fascinating stuff from Jason there. I was at Kenilworth Road on Wednesday. I spoke to Reuben after the game. I asked him about when he last played centre-back before that game. He said it was when he was 12 or 13. Said he absolutely hated it. That was playing in a back four. Playing in a back three gives you a lot more freedom to express yourself.
I said back three, you're absolutely right. I said back five in the piece there, but it was a very strange-looking back line when defending. I called it a Frankenstein back 3 or 5 because I don't think we'll ever see that again. Reuben is one of these players, and I said versatile there. Reuben's one of these players that you could probably find a place for him in the team anywhere because he's got so much ability, and his injuries have really stunted his progression here. Now, he's no longer a kid. You know, we think of Reuben, I do anyway, think of the boy that I saw in the academy, the boy coming through the youth team, going out on loan to various clubs, but coming back and have an impact playing for England. Don't forget, he was very much part of Gareth Southgate's World Cup plans. And the injury, the Achilles injury that he picked up really has put him back again. But I just want to see that more and more of that type of Reuben that we know is in there. And he's on the bench today, but I can put him. He's even played up top before. You remember he played up top. He can play centrally. He has played out wide right as well. I think he's done a lot of that work for Crystal Palace. He can play in the centre. He is so talented, the boy. And I just want to see him. He should really be at his age now. He should be one of the first names on the team sheet, and he's not, and that's been an issue, but various different reasons, but certainly injuries have killed him.
That versatility will certainly help him, though. I know we've spoken before about moving from central defence into central midfield and the struggles, the issues that you have with that. Surely then, moving from central midfield back to centre-back, where you can see the whole game in front of you, it's only a benefit.
Well, Glenn Hoddle done it, didn't he? You think about, you know, I'm not comparing him to Glenn, but I'm talking about the way that you can play the game and you can see things. I felt that he was a little tentative in the first half, and we saw on the clips there that he was happy to pass the ball, which is fine. But second half, I do feel as though the gaffer said to him, if they sit off you and space opens up, drive into that space, cause them problems. Now they might want to squeeze you. If they squeeze you, then you can pass it, and it should give the midfield a little bit more time. And he can mix his game up. But I felt that as the game went on, I felt that he got better and better. Eventually, they played him the last 15 minutes. I think he moved into the midfield. But I thought over the course of the 90 minutes, he was our most impressive player.
Let's talk about this afternoon then, and the team that Thomas Tuchel's decided to field. It's a welcome return to starting lineup for Reece James.
Indeed, yes. Been desperate to see the boy back. He picked up that injury. I was at Stamford Bridge the day that he did, and he was absolutely cruising, having a big say in the way the game went for Chelsea. One of our most influential players, not just setting goals up, not just putting in brilliant performances, but also assists as well. Both him and Ben were doing brilliant stuff out on the wing backs and causing a lot of teams a lot of problems. I just wonder whether we look at Lukaku, and there's been a lot of people talking about and have an opinion on Lukaku. I don't think directly Reece and Ben's absence have had a direct impact on his game, but I think indirectly it has. I think that there can be moments in games. I look back at his first goal that he scored against Arsenal. Played the ball out wide to Reece. Reece is on the overlap, drills the ball across the face of the goal and goes and scores. We don't really put those balls in the box. Azpilicueta tends not to. Alonso, I think, has done really well. Again, he's not really known for getting high or getting up on that, you know, and delivering cross. Can do it, but I just wonder with a Reece now, even though Lukaku's not playing, I think the introduction of Reece, Lukaku will at some stage benefit.
Well, he's an excellent passer of the ball, isn't he? Reece, he often, like you said there, Jason, finds himself in those advanced positions,
loves it.
And his final ball is superb. I mean, looking at other right-backs in the country, when he was available before his injury, where was he ranking? You know, Trent Alexander-Arnold is always the one that gets banded around.
Oh, yeah, Trent's a brilliant footballer. They're kind of not over the halfway line. They're kind of similar type of players, I think. They've got a lovely range of passing, both very comfortable in possession. I think Reece gives you a little bit more defensively, and there's that. Gareth is sport for choice. He almost can't make a wrong decision in my mind, but Reece, I felt, had a little bit on him, on Trent. I think that if you were to ask Gareth, and certainly some of the team selections at international level, it did feel as though Reece was getting the nod. It's a big year for everyone coming up, of course, with the World Cup, but he's in the conversation, Reece, for one of the best, not just in this country, but you look across Europe right now. He is a brilliant footballer, and he just brings. He's also, I feel, brings a little bit of composure. He's very composed. You watch how many times he uses his chest to, and he doesn't just use chest just to bring it down. He uses it literally plays the ball sometimes into his own path. Have a look for it, because his chest control is outstanding.
Strong as well, isn't he? When he's got the ball, so difficult to shrug him out of possession. Look, it's Burnley against Chelsea today. It would be foolish of us not to mention the fixture last time round. 25 attempts in the reverse fixture, 14 corners, but only 4 shots for Chelsea on target. It's so important today to not waste any opportunities.
Max, I was at Stamford Bridge that day, and how we did not go on and win it, I'll never know. We totally dominated, had chances to go on and win it, didn't take them, left the door open. They managed to get the equaliser. And you know what? There was a moment in that game, I think it was Jay Rodriguez that went through with maybe a minute and a half left of what the ref added on. Could have gone through and won it. And that would have been a travesty. So you're absolutely right to mention that. I'm sure that'll be in the players' minds. It'll definitely be in the manager's mind. Also, Sean Dyche, hang in the game, because we've shown and proven that we can go to a place like Stamford Bridge and take back a point. If they get a point today, Burnley, they'll be delighted, especially after what's happened to Leeds earlier. Well,
let's hope that it doesn't end up in a similar way to that game at Stamford Bridge. Jason, thanks as ever for your insight. We'll be back just before kick-off for live commentary of this afternoon's Premier League game. But for now, it's time to hear from the boss himself, Thomas Tuchel.
Thomas, first of all, good to see you. It's been quite the week, hasn't it? How are you, and have you had a chance to digest everything that's been happening?
Well, maybe not everything, but we are digesting, and we got a quick brief from Peter, so like everybody in the building, about the situation. Nothing new, more or less, nothing what you cannot also read in the news. But still necessary that we trust in our ability to focus on sport, and then we can allow ourselves also to focus, because there are things we cannot influence, and why to spend energy on it.
You enjoyed so much success with Roman in your first year. It must be extra special for you, though.
Yeah, it is special. I mean, this club is Roman's club and was always Roman's club. This was like, you did not need to think twice. If you thought about Chelsea, you thought about Roman Abramovich. And what he did is exceptional. And we are happy that we could close the cycle of trophies and win the World Cup that was, and the European Super Cup that was not won during his era. We did not see this coming. But now we have to adapt.
We've spoken previously, Thomas, about the unity within this squad and the team spirit. Has that been evident for you this week as well?
I think that's a huge point. I think we did already perform twice under these circumstances, in the Carabao Cup final and in the FA Cup in Luton. I think we had 2 good performances. We had 2 very different games. We were very focused. The organization around the team was spot on. So we already proved it, and that's why we can trust ourselves that we can do it again and again and again.
The Premier League season has had so many twists and turns already, hasn't it? Are you glad that you've now got a run of 3 straight league games to plan for and look forward to?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have a feeling for the competition that you play in. I think we have 2 or 3 games in 7-8 weeks. In Premier League, then you lose a bit the connection, because normally if you have we had 6 consecutive wins, or 7 out of 9, you get a lot of points for it, and you see it immediately, the effect in the table. But we won in World Cup, we won in FA Cup, we played Carabao Cup, and you don't move in the table, or even everybody else comes closer because they play at the same time. It's a bit strange, but yeah, it's good that we have now 3 games in a row, because we need that feeling for the competition.
It's great, isn't he, Thomas Tuchel? Talking about there, yeah, back to league form today, which we haven't seen for a while. Quite a lot of social media reaction coming in. Obviously delighted with the lineup, really, boys, to be fair. This is from CFC Bex. Kai Havertz at striker, Pulisic on the left wing, Thiago Silva defying time at the back, Reece James back in the mix. I'm on cloud 9. This is a nice one as well, because when you look at it, the front 3 of Pulisic, Havertz and Mount, 23, 22, 23. But we look at those three as more experienced players, I suppose, Sam, don't you? Because you know you can rely on them.
Yeah, and that's the testament to how they've been playing for Chelsea. Like, even, I was going to say it, like, when Havertz scores, unless it's obviously in the final, which he's done quite a lot, but he's so serious. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, job done, let's keep moving. And you see that with Mount, he's a bit more playful, but at the same time, they understand the club that they're playing for and how normal it is for us to win, be in finals, be in the position that we are in the league. And like Tuchel said, the fact that we've got 3 games going now, they understand that this is an important time for not only for the team to gain momentum, but for them to solidify their position in the squad. Because like we said earlier, there's players that are coming back from injury that want those positions. Yeah, we're all friends and teammates, but they also want to start. So, yeah, man, it's good to have them.
It is, and we spoke about Reuben a little while ago about taking his opportunity regardless what position he's playing. A little bit of that for Saul today, Dan, you know, because Marcus Alonso's been in there, obviously Ben Chilwell, a long-term injury. Kennedy played left wing-back in the FA Cup in midweek. Chance for Saul to be, you know, he's rewarded because he performed very well in the week, but a different position. But I suppose, like we were saying, you need players that can be versatile and take opportunity whenever it comes.
I'm interested to see this one because we know what Alonso gives us down that left flank, but because Saul thinks more like a midfielder than a wing-back, I think it could be a nice little balance in there. I think he'll tuck in rather than, you know, do the long running, hugging the touchline. I think he'll sneak into positions quite well. But yeah, I'm interested to see it. I feel like he knows this position because he's obviously played it. He fancies himself more as a midfielder than a wing back. But when you've played in a position for a season, you know that position. It doesn't go. You figure it out, and it all comes back to you second nature.
What if there's a bit in that, Sam? Because, you know, I mean, we may start the game and Christian Pulisic might be playing left wing back. We just don't know because of versatility within the squad. But you know Burnley are going to play 4-4-2. It's how they play. They've played that way ever since they've come up to the Premier League under Sean Dyche. They're very well disciplined. You very rarely get mistakes from them. You don't get change a lot of the time from them. They make you work for every point you get. When you've got Reece and Saul, who are more likely to come inside than perhaps an out-and-out winger that would want to stay heels on the touchline, I think maybe a little bit in that to kind of cluster the middle of midfield and try and get something out of that. Maybe,
but I also think, like Dan said, because Saul he is a midfielder, so they've just got more things to worry about. When James plays out there, we're used to seeing him go into the middle, like you said, and trying to dictate from out there, but he can also do it from out wide. So they're going to have so much to worry about. We saw clips of Aaron Lennon and some of the players on their team, and yeah, they're good players, but I don't know if they're going to be able to last a full 90 chasing James and Saul up and down that line when they come into the middle and they go back out as well, on top of the forwards that we have that drop in deep as well. So I think they're going to have a lot to worry about during the game.
They do play quite direct, Dan. It's not a criticism because they've had a lot of success over the last couple of years. When you've got a 6'6" centre forward in Wout Weghorst, you want to utilise that. Aaron Lennon, Dwight McNeil, either side, they're going to want to get crosses in. So there's an added pressure, I suppose, defensively, and added questions for Saul because Reece James is, you know, reliable in that aspect. But it's a new job for Saul, so I suppose that's an added thing that Thomas Tuchel will be maybe tracking for the games ahead as well. Yeah, and it's the other players' responsibilities to tell him when he's a couple yards out, because he naturally might be when you're not so used to playing in a position. We kind of know how Burnley are going to play. They'll probably gift us the ball and ask us to break them down, but when they get it, they will be looking to hit the big man up top straight away and try and get whatever change they can out of us. But I expect us to dominate the ball. I think that our wing-backs will be inverted wing-backs, and then Mount and Pulisic will probably take the wider areas. But I expect it to be almost opposite game plans. We'll want a ball and we'll want to be intricate. They'll want to just lump it and try and get change. It's going to be an interesting game. Reece James and Mason Mount pairing up on that right-hand side, we believe anyway, of course, at the moment. Mason and Pulisic might swap over, but that is a partnership we've seen flourishing and developing, and now Reece is back. It's exciting for them two to be on that side again. Yeah, 100%. They've been playing together since the youth days, and I think they relish that opportunity to play together because, like I said, there's so many other players that will rightly so get that position. But yeah, I think they understand how each other play. They know, Reece James knows how Mount wants the ball on the half turn, or if he wants it directly to feet. They don't necessarily have to talk too much about it as well. And I think
if they're able to get into their flow in the early stages, then the Burnley defence are going to have a lot to worry about.
It's a good game. It's going to be a good game, definitely. 1-1 earlier in the season, of course. Chelsea travelled to Turf Moor. It's time for kickoff. Well, almost anyway. So time to hand you over to our commentary team of Max Jones and Jason Cundy.